Hi everyone. So welcome back. This is Narco's second video that we've done. And really excited to show you this one. I think you'll agree that there is a huge difference in this little horse as we go forward with this video. We do canter, we have lameness, we have funny movements, we have a bit of anxiety, but we figure it all out. And it is quite remarkable how the horse that kind of had so many issues that, you know, people were struggling to find why, you know, he's having the lameness, why he's having this, that, and the other, as to, yeah, I think we've unraveled it all. So yeah, super excited to show it you, and I hope you enjoy it. We've still got more to come. But yeah, so pleased, really pleased. It's amazing when it all comes together, and it's amazing when you see how these horses feel so much better, and it just works. It does just work, and it's lovely. You know, it's been a real eye opener for Ellie as well, who's been riding him. To feel the different things that I'm telling them to do and feel and see, and it's really nice as well to be able to put that across to people, and teach them how to do it. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Right, so on the last videos that we did, we finished with, you know, Narco having a little trot. It was all very chilled, keeping him really as calm and sane and sensible as we could. So we're still kind of not getting straight on him. We're bringing him down to the school, but we're just having a walk around and then allowing him to kind of have a look at this. You can see he's so chilled out there. He's like, look at me. That's me in the mirror. He's really cute, and he's been absolutely brilliant. Really trusting with us and just kind of allowing us to try and work out what's going on. So that's why we're taking it really slowly with him. I don't want to bugger anything up at all for him. I really don't. You know, we've got to get it right. So you'll see there, you know, we stand him at the mounting block. We make lots of fuss of him. We just keep it as absolutely relaxed as we possibly can. There's no pressure that we want to put on this little horse. So we're just giving him a nice little walk around the arena. You know, he has a little look around, and a lot of the horses sometimes were like, no, come on, you need to focus. But actually for him, he doesn't do anything wrong. And because his anxiety is so inside that he doesn't show it much, we want him to feel happy about his surroundings. So he's kind of, for his own peace of mind, allow him to take it all in. So we've had a walk. We now want to bring him onto the trot. So I've just asked Ellie just to come on, increase the walk. You see, she's just pushing along there ever so gently. And there he goes. Because what we don't want to do is we don't want explosive transitions. This isn't what they need, especially at this stage when we're trying to keep their minds so chilled out. And also, their bodies aren't physically ready for big transitions from walk to trot, from trot to walk, from canter, you know, trot to canter. They're just not. So we kind of have to just speed them up into it a little bit as we go for it. So you'll see there, he's, you know, he's very choppy. He's a bit tight. He's, you know, mouthing on the bit a little bit. He's just fallen apart there. But again, he's very chill, but you can just see there's ever so slightly, just the way he's kind of holding himself, that there is that tension. And that's where we need to get to the bottom of it with him. It's nice to see him stop there and then be, you know, he's walked on really nicely. He hasn't kind of froze. So he really is starting to listen to Ellie quite well now. So we've changed the rein. And again, it's just another one of those sessions where we're moving forwards, but not very quickly. And it's really hard sometimes, but I say sometimes the slower we work, the bigger the progress for us. And that's kind of, you know, what we do. You'll see there, you can just see his neck is just tight. He's stiff. He's absolutely stiff all over. So there's nothing, you know, he's not doing anything wrong. He's got his little ears pricked, but he's just really, really tight. So you'll see the way Ellie's sat as well. Now, don't even get me started on certain things about how riders should sit correctly and things and stuff like that. You'll see in this video how everything about your kind of, how you should sit properly on a horse, we're completely throwing that out of the window. Ellie sat there quite loose and forward, and I always say to people, just sit like a sack of potatoes, just sit like a jelly. Whatever you need to be, just to be as floppy and relaxed as you can. Drop those hands, don't pick them up, just allow them, ride the horse that we've got. And you'll see there, he's starting to drop his head. And the reason he's starting to drop his head now is because we're allowing him to move forward. He's kind of getting the idea now that he can trust us. So what Ellie's doing, which you can't really see properly in the videos, but she's just kind of having a little bit of a movement with her fingers on the reins, just to try and supple that neck a little bit, just soften it, just from the pole all the way down. And doing that just allows him to drop his head. Now, as he drops his head, he'll open up the body a lot more. So that becomes a lot freer for him, which will be completely alien to him for a while because he hasn't done this for so long. So we're just unravelling little parts of what's going on every time we ride him. So we've changed the rein. You'll just see there, he's not lame, but he's not uncomfortable. Just doesn't look great. Just very choppy. You can just see really, really choppy there, and the head comes up. So what we want to do is we want to try and encourage that head and neck just to drop and relax, and then hopefully the shoulders will open, the back end will be able to just move him a little bit, and there he's actually going, oh, I can have a little stretch, and Ellie's just going, there we go, just take it. And again, his little ears are just pricked. Now that's a lot better movement. And what I'm saying is we kind of need to start holding him together a little bit, but on a very, very loose rein. So what you'll see is that lovely soft contact there that Ellie's got, but she's got her legs wrapped around him, and the way she's carrying him is just to carry him along. So big, big, huge pats, lots of fuss for him. And then actually what we do is we'll walk him back. And you can see he's so chilled out there. And it's all these little tiny bits that we're doing that build up to the next stage of where we get to. So we've brought him in now, and we haven't walked him round at all. To be honest, the horseflies are horrific. So we are getting straight on. So I'm just stood there, making a lot of fuss of him, just keeping him nice and chilled, talking away to him. It's no big deal. We're getting on. We're having another session in the school. And look how soft, he walks away on a really loose rein. He just looks relaxed. I mean, there he looks half asleep. It is hot. And actually, in all fairness, if you've got a bit of a quirky one, when it's a little bit hot, it's sometimes not a bad idea to start them. Because, the heat, like us, it knocks us out a little bit. But we're trying to get the horses done as early as we can in the mornings. And, we don't work them for long. So actually, they're doing fine. And I mean, these videos here, it's not half as hot as what it is now. So, yeah, we're not putting them under any stress whatsoever. So you'll see he's just kind of walking along on a really nice, chilled out loose rein. And when we first start him, some of them will bring them into the school and we're straight away like, come on, now, like I said, I want you to concentrate. But Narco, again, he doesn't need that. He just needs to be chilling. And what I've said to Ellie is just really, really keep those hands as nice and relaxed and floppy as you possibly can on him. And it's just allowing him to be himself. We don't want to gather him up. We don't want to be asking loads of questions of him. He's such a sweet little horse. I think the more you grab hold of him, the more anxiety he gets. So we've got to kind of teach him that it's fine to be loose on your own. He just trips up again. Honestly, they just kind of, fall over their own feet. But again, he doesn't react badly to it. Now, here, he's actually starting to drop his head quite early on. There was just a few little bits as we trotted along, and there again, where he's kind of a bit up and down. And again, we're not going to force him to drop that head down. we've got no gadgets, we've got no nothing, it's just us and the horse. But what we want to do is try and encourage him to keep dropping that head so he can find the position that he's most comfortable at. And as he does that, that's when we then go, right, come on, Narco, we can do that. So there, I've just said to Ellie, just push him along a little bit more, send him a little bit more forward. But when I say more forward with Narco, we don't want to be pushing for, a big, huge stride. We need a little bit more impulsion there for him, because what we want to do is we want to get that body working. There's so much that's still cramped up on him. There's so much that he still holds so much tension in there. So we've changed the rein, and you'll see as we've changed the rein, this is his worst rein actually. He's trotting along quite nicely. We're getting completely eaten by horseflies. Now that looks lovely. I just keep saying as well, just keep the leg on, soften the hands and allow him to move forward. And that's exactly what Ellie's doing. She's just being really soft, really light. And you can see as she's sitting there, she's just sitting really relaxed. Now, what I've said is, on this rein, we need to do a little bit of work with him. So we're going to have to start changing our position on his back. So what I've asked Ellie to do is just start dropping her inside shoulder back a little bit, because he does struggle a little bit on this rein. And we're just thinking forward to how he might be when we start doing the canter. So just poking his nose, like, come on, oh, and just coming around the bends there. He did a little bit of a lane before we went into the canter. He was just kind of a bit worried about what was happening. Now, you'll see on the canter there, the head's come up, and all we want to do is try and guide him around and just check that he's going to be okay. Today, it's not about positioning him. It was about allowing him to have a canter, not explode, not get upset, just be absolutely fine. We could have carried it on and gone, no, I want you to move a bit like this, I want you to move like that. That would have really wound him up. So we've changed the rein, and just as he's cantering now, there's just a little bit more anxiety. You can just see the way his little head's going, his little face. You'll have to excuse me, I miss him for a little while while I'm the camera's getting ahead of me. I sometimes get a bit over enthusiastic. So here, this is his better rein, but because we've cantered on this second, it actually looks like his worst rein. And that reason being is because the anxiety levels have gone up. Cantered the first rein, that was fine. Changed the rein, he straight away is anticipating we want to canter. So that's where the anxiety levels rise. And that is exactly where he starts to do that, as I put it in my special terms, that kind of crabby motion. So what I've said to Ellie now is switch him off, get a nice chilled out trot, even if it's just, half a circuit or a circuit. We just want that brain to relax. Forget about the canter that we've had and just focus on what we've got now. And you see, it's just little moments where he just starts losing the balance, losing the footing, bits of lameness, whatever. There's just bits there that we need to work on. Not reacting to him, finishing on a good note, leaving it. No stress, allowing him to walk back home as chilled out as he came down to the school. So for him, he's gone into the school, he's had a few little anxiety issues, but he's switched back off. Now that is the most important part of it, because he'll remember that the next time we start him again. So today, he'd had a few extra days off and it was quite windy. You can see they're getting blown away a little bit there. So we did give him a walk around, and the reason being is because we wanted to make sure that he was completely chilled. Now, there's no harm in going back a step, because it's not about always moving forward. It's about going back a step when you need to. So that's what we did. We didn't get on him, straight away. We walked him around the school, let him chill, and then got on. And you can see there, he's completely relaxed. Now, it might have been a different story. It might not have been if we'd have brought him down and got straight on. Who knows? Because we didn't do that. We basically made a decision and it's worked for us today. So, I'm really, really happy with him. Again, he's walking along quite nicely, just kind of a bit of more of a march there. Hopefully you can see, it looks like his back end is just working that little bit better. And he's not suddenly going to have muscled up, over the last few days to the week. But what he's doing is he's softening. So all that tension that he's held in his body for so long, is now softening, because every session we've done with him, he's took another breath. He's gone, actually, that's okay. So it's all really good. And you can see there, he's just, striding out nicely. The head's down enough of where we want it. We could, again, ask for him to be a little bit more in there and just a little bit more contact. But he doesn't need that. That's not where we want him to be. Where we want Narco to be is Mr. Chilled, because he's had his issues, and all of that we want in the past. We don't want that to rear his ugly head again. We just want this boy here. You can see there, he's gone into trot, and straight away he's kind of thinking for himself, going, oh, I can just drop my head a little bit here. Now, all Ellie's got to do is just encourage him. Just ask for the right little things and just say, come on, this is where I want to position you. Are you comfortable with that? Fine, we carry on. So he's actually like a complete donkey there today. He's not really kind of going anywhere. So what I've said is, come on, we need to just pick it up a little bit. And now we need to start asking that little bit more of him. It's getting to the point now where I think he's ready for us to ask a few more questions, and actually for him to answer in a really good way and try. And that's all we can ever ask of these horses, is that they try. So you'll see we've changed the rein. He's dropped beautifully there as he's gone across. Now, there's the bits of lameness that we sometimes get. Now, why? Why are we getting that today? He's not under any pressure at all. Or is he? Maybe the weather, maybe things have just kind of took a little bit more on him. Who knows? But what we've done is we've ignored the fact that he's kind of had those moments. And you can see there, he's not 100%. It's all kind of a little bit falling apart. The head's going out. He's kind of chomping around the bit. He's tight. And it's a little bit like what I said. You have your few steps forward, your few steps back. Maybe it's because we just asked for that little tiny little bit more. Again, who knows? But what I've said to Ellie here now is we're going to work on this rein, because this is the worst rein for him. So you'll see ever so slightly, the way she's sitting, she's keeping her hands really, really low and buried in. And what I've said to her there is open up the inside hand. Jam it onto your knee if you need to, because what he's trying to do right there now is he's trying to get her to move her inside hand across there sideways. He's crabbing. He's starting to get really upset about it. So what I have to do now is think a little bit more outside the box. So we're going to change the rein. We're going to put him back onto the rein where he's a little bit more comfortable and see what happens. Because for us, we need to see if there's a reason that he is going lame. Or is it, as I suspect, that it's just that mental anxiety that causes it? So as we've got there, you can see again, the head just keeps coming up occasionally. He's just having a little chomp. Now, all my horses chomp on the bit. It doesn't worry me. But there's a difference in the way Narco does it when he's getting a little bit stressed. And that's the key that you need to see between horses that just do have a little bit of a chomp and a teeth grind now and again, or horses that the anxiety level's coming out. So again, here, you'll just see he's kind of like, oh, I'm not too sure. And I'm like, we're going to have to really just start asking those little questions. But it's such a fine line as to where we go with him. Now there, he looks beautiful. And he's just starting to get a little bit of lift. There's no sign of the lameness or the tightness or anything. He looks great there. So what we've said is we're just going to start increasing it a little bit. Just try and open up the frame and just allow him to move. But what I've also said is as we're trotting along really, really nicely there, just keeping those hands nice and low so he can just get that freedom, just that freedom of movement that he needs to understand he can do. A lot of the time when the anxiety levels have been so high, the unraveling process is then so much mentally, and you just have to convince them that actually it's all fine. It's not a problem and they don't have to worry about anything. You can see there he's looking really, really relaxed and settled. So all Ellie's done is just increase the trot. She's kept those hands buried into his neck. She hasn't moved them. She's gone slightly half seat off his back, just allow him to move forward. Because what we don't want to do is be sat on his back, sat bolt upright and putting pressure on him. It just has to be a real steady flow, which is where I talk about the transitions. And he falls apart completely. But from what we started with to then the middle part of having this lame, crabby horse, to where we've got to there. You know, that's a big, huge difference that we've done with him today. So what we want to do now is just settle him back down, give him time to chill. And Ellie's just talking there about how I'm just starting, you see her move. She was like, about how I'm starting to explain how her body needs to move so we can correct him. Or correct is the wrong word. We can help him, you know, work out for himself where he needs to be. So again, what I've said is just drop him really steady into the trot. Let's chill him back out. If we're going to change the rein and have a go on the other rein, we need his head back in the right place before we do that. There's no point in switching reins with him and just having him not feeling happy or relaxed, because we'll be setting off completely wrong, and that will just then put the anxiety levels even higher for him. So you'll see he's just there. She's got her hands nicely dropped and he's just so chilled. Apologies again, I've lost him. Trotting along really, really nicely. So as we change the rein, what I'm saying to her is open up that inside hand. You'll just see there again, it's there. There's those bits where he just suddenly goes tense. Now you'll see the way she's really, really dropped back that inside shoulder. Now I'm telling her to ride him basically quite wonky. Even when she's going up the straight, I've asked her to sit as if she's on a very, very exaggerated bend. And again, there you'll see the way she's sat. Now she's like, what on earth are you trying to tell me to do? But there we go. But can you see the horse? So I don't want you to look so much so at Ellie's position right at this moment in time. I want you to look at Narco's. He was starting to bend and he was starting to move a lot more freer, because it's our body position that affects them so much, and we have to work with them. This is where I go back to saying about kind of people telling you to ride them this and ride them that way. What we have to ride is the individual horse that we're sat on. And this is where it's getting lost. And this is where I find that there's a lot of riding instructors out there that have no idea how to be training people to ride on a racehorse. So she's asking for a canter. You see that real crabbiness there. It's like, oh my God, he just can't do it. He's completely to the outside. And there, everything falls apart. We have a pretty much lame horse. Are we stopping? No. Because again, I don't think it's physical with him. I think it's mental. And if we stop right there now, it's just going to upset him even more. What we need to do is, in the nicest possible way, is try and get Narco to realise that it's absolutely fine. He doesn't need to be feeling like this. So it's really, really hard, because I don't want to push him out of his comfort zone too soon. But equally, I need him to feel and know that it's okay. So what we've done is we've stopped. We've brought him back to that trot. I've told Ellie to really, really over-exaggerate her body bend again on him. Open up the inside hand and just allow him not to pull against that. And you can see he's like, I'm not really sure, but he's trying. He was trying so hard. So we've stopped it, you know. And the reason we've stopped it is because he's actually in that session there is the hardest that little horse has worked for us. And mentally, he will be exhausted. Physically as well, but not so much, but mentally so exhausted. So praise him, let him just settle and chill. And basically then he has some time out to just kind of rethink what we've been doing, give that brain time to kind of, you know, work it all out. So we braved it. And this is the first time that we've actually got on him from the mounting block back up at the yard and rode him back down. I mean, we'd done that first ever day and it'd been great, and then it'd all kind of gone a little bit backward. But look how chilled he is. I mean, he's on a nice loose rein, and it's so nice to see him then walk into the school like it. So in this respect now, we know we've done our job properly on that. And with the retraining, it's all about little parts. And the little parts of it, it's like probably putting a jigsaw together. It's probably the best way I can explain it, really. What we've got to do is kind of start putting it together. And we pick where we need to start, which is the best place to start. And sometimes, you know, we get it wrong. That bit isn't going to fit, so we'll take it back out. And then we'll try another one. And it's exactly the same in a way with the retraining that we do. So what we've done today is, And again, there's like method behind my madness with it. This is his worst rein. So what I want to do is work just on that worst rein. Now, quite often with the retraining, when you've got a horse that's very one-sided, for whatever reason it is, we'll work them quite a little bit more sometimes on that bad rein. And then you often find it switches. So the bad rein becomes the good rein and the good rein becomes a bit worse. And then we have to switch back again. But again, it's kind of, a bit of trial and error with them. So here, the overall picture, he's short, but he's moving okay. He's kind of, there's not really tension there. He's just a little bit, how can I put it? He's just not too sure. So what we want to do is just allow that trot to open up a little bit. Now, what I've said to Ellie again is to work really hard with kind of sitting with that slight bend, so the inside shoulder is dropped back, and really keep that inside hand a little bit further out, keep it low, so that he doesn't have the opportunity to be trying to pull to the outside and pull your inside hand across. I hope that makes sense. So again, on the circle here, she's just kind of sitting really nice and floppy with him, keeping her hands really, really low, and just watch that shoulder just kind of dropping back there a little bit. And he's following through. His body is following the direction of where she's pointing the shoulders to. So we're not forcing him to do anything. We're just literally trying to encourage him the position we want to be in. Now, the issues we had before was that he was trying to pull us to the way he wanted to go. So he was trying to pull us to the outside. And what we've done is gone, no, we're going to pull you to the inside. But we're not pulling, we're just kind of asking him to go. So we're going for the little canter. And again, watch as we do the canter. She's really, really exaggerating that. She's got the hands down and she's sat basically a bit wonky there. But look how much better that canter is compared to the last time we cantered in here, which he crabbed it all the way round. Now, a lot of the reason why the canter is so much better, now Ellie's able to sit a little bit more with him, and there he's just holding himself, is because he's so much more relaxed. The last session was quite hard on him, but he had plenty of time to recover mentally and physically from it, just to go in the field and chill out, come in, daily like he does, but just not have the exercise, just allow his body to settle. So we've changed the rein there on him now. And all we want to do is just give him a really nice steady trot round to start with again. Chill the trot out, because again, as I've said before, what we don't want is to be able to get the anxiety levels in him. So he goes, right, I'm changing the rein. He's trippy all over. I'm changing the rein, I'm going to canter. It's like, no, we change the rein, we just have a little trot. Sometimes we'd walk them, but with Narco, he doesn't really need to have that switch off walk time in between. We kind of want to keep him a little bit focused, but relaxed. So that's why we're trotting round now. And Ellie's just like, come on, we can do this. She's picked him up a little bit more there. And she's actually said to him, come on, we can actually work a little bit more. Because if she hadn't have done that then at that point, I honestly believe he'd probably have gone lame again, because he'd have just fallen apart. And that's not what we want. We're kind of nearly there where we don't have those issues with him anymore. So today, because he's cantered so beautifully on that right rein, where he's been, we haven't cantered. We've trotted round on the left rein there and we've just left him. Again, it's little baby steps that we do with them to make sure that they're ready for that next part that we do. So I just thought it was quite interesting to put a little bit, we haven't shown Narco getting tacked up or anything like that. So chilled out in the stable. He's such a sweetie. So chilled out. Again, coming back down to the school. Straight on him. He's got that really nice kind of, softness about him again. So all we've got to hope is that every session we bring him down here, we just improve. We can just keep improving slightly. That's all we can ask for. So you'll see we've started off on a really nice walk on his bad rein again. And there he's actually stretching down a little bit more. As he comes round the corners, there's a much better walk there. It's kind of, you move forward, you move back, you move forward, you move back. And the thing is not to get upset or downhearted when things don't quite go to plan. Because as long as you finish on a good note, and as long as you haven't put too much pressure on them, they'll come out the next time and they'll have figured it out. You know, they'll have thought about some things and they will have figured out so much. They're so intelligent. They just need time to process things sometimes in between what we do with them, which is why every little clip that we've got here is so short. You know, we don't work them for hours and hours on end. They don't need it. They honestly don't need it. And do you know what? We don't need it. It's hard work doing what we do with these horses. I mean, you know, we can make it look easy, but it's really, really not. So what a lovely little trot. Completely relaxed. And again, you know, we've always got Narco on a really nice loose rein. And he's just there. He's just there underneath us now. And again, you'll see Ellie's just riding nice and floppy. You know, there is nothing that is over the top about it. We're asking too much. You know, we're not sitting there like dressage riders. We are riding the horse that we have in front of us. And you can see again, she's ever so slightly, you know, she's really, really thinking about that bend in her body to allow him to follow it through. And he is beautifully. He's such a little sweetheart. He really, really does try. And it's very, very hard when they hide the anxiety a lot sometimes, and that's what he was doing. But now we know we can, you know, we can work with that. So again, there she's just kind of bending that body around. He just follows through. We overcomplicate so much with these horses, we really do, and we don't need to. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of the issues that are created are probably from us anyway, you know, so we've just got to uncreate them. And instead of riding them the way we think we need to ride, we need to ride them the way they want to be ridden. And you know, it's so much easier to do it that way. So doesn't he look cool? Look at him flicking his little toes. And you know, this is the horse that when in the first video he was hopping lame on the lunge. I mean, it was just weird. And in this video, you've seen him kind of tense up and have those lameness issues. Now, we could have got a vet out, but they've had all the checks done. There's nothing there. And I will probably get moaned at that, oh my God, well, there must be, you know, whatever. But there is nothing there. You know what? There's nothing else we can do apart from work the horse that we've got. And that's what we're doing. And this is what people sometimes forget. You can look at too much. Break it down. Look at what you've got in front of you to start with. We can worry about the other things. And if there's issues, you know, if he'd been creating and we'd have been having issues with him during the retraining now, then fine. We'd have got the vets back out to look at him. But I think we've done pretty well. And all we've done is unravel that mind and body. So we've just chilled him back out again because he's obviously struck off onto the wrong leg again. And again, we don't want to be making an issue out of it because for Narco, if we make it an issue, it will become a big issue. So there, all Ellie's done is she settled him back down, she increased the trot, she turned the body, she opened up the inside hand, and she basically just gave him a little kick with the inside leg and a tiny little slap on the shoulder. And that was what he needed, just to go, oh, I get it, it's this way. So again, watch as she comes around the corners there now. There we go, just a little bit of encouragement and just turning him. Good boy, Narco. And again, as she comes around the corners, she just drops that shoulder back. There's a good boy. So he's trying desperately a little bit to pull her hand to the outside there. You can see it. And she's gone, no. I'm going to swing you around the corner with my body. And he's gone, okay, I get that. He's now accepting our help. As before, he couldn't. He just could not work it out. He didn't know how to accept our help. So you see, the more now there, we've asked her to come round on a circle. And she's really, really just tipping herself, bending, and he's following through with it. I mean, we would get completely slated if we went and had a lesson like this. And they'd be going, oh my God, what are you doing? You know, sit up, right tall, do this, do that. That doesn't work. This worked. Give him a real nice little confidence pat and just allow him to stretch. You could see there, he just popped the head down. He was like, yeah, I can do that. It's all these little bits that are coming with him. And it's so, so sweet to see. And, you know, he did have a really hard start where, you know, he's really kept me thinking. He really has. You know, I've had to kind of think a little bit differently with him sometimes and go, well, are we on the right track? Am I doing the right thing? And I'm glad that we've kind of stuck with what we thought, and we have, because it's definitely working. So it was nice there just to switch him off, allow him to have a little walk. It's so hot. And look at that little stretch there now. He's actually starting to open up the frame a lot more. He's so much more trusting and willing and enjoying finding this new body that he's got. And I think that's very important with these horses. They can tense their body up, and they can cause so much kind of damage, not damage to it, but where they are, they hold the tension there. That can come really quickly. To unravel it, that's what takes the time. Look at that lovely little trot. Oh my goodness. How chilled out does he look? I'm super proud of the little horse, and he's just dropping his head down. And again, look how softly Ellie rides him. She keeps her hands nice and low, and she's starting to ride him that little bit more, ever so slightly. We are just being able to ask a little bit more of him, and he just gives it, and he's getting better and better every time. Now he finds this rein a lot easier than the other rein. So this is why we keep working him on this afterwards, because we want to do the rein he finds it hard on first before he gets tired, or he might feel a bit more uncomfortable. So there, we're just increasing it. What a beautiful transition. He just flowed into it, and that's what it's all about. It's about flowing. It's not about explosions. It's not about him jumping into these transitions. It's about everything we do with these horses. We just want it to flow from one thing to the other. How lovely does he look? I mean, I've watched this video back, but I'm so proud of him and how far he's come. And yeah, so is Ellie. And, so she should be, because, she's really working hard with him, and they're doing so well. It's great to watch. What a little superstar. He's so happy with himself. He always comes for a cuddle, always. And then he has to have a leg stretch. He's one that, yeah, he's quite, you know exactly what he's going to do. So I hope you enjoyed it.